Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I do not know if you heard this parroted to you many times, which is we are fighting the Russians in Ukraine to preserve Ukrainian democracy and freedom. And they are the defenders of the Western values. Okay? Now, I will just stop to democracy. We are preserving Ukraine's democracy. Okay. Well, you see, there are some values and there are some principles. If you say that you're a principled man or you have values, then those values and principles should be valid across the board, regardless on what kind of situation comes up. For instance, if you see someone committing a criminal act, you call it as it is, regardless of who that person is, a friend of yours, person that you know, relative, or a person that you don't. They commit that crime. You have to say it. If you have principles, okay, and values. So in this case, we are told that Zelensky is the pinnacle of democracy, which he actually is in charge of Ukraine, supposedly. Okay, well, by convention, let's say that he is. Well, that's one man. That's one man. Yeah, that's the Rada over there, the parliament, which is functioning. But if he wants, and he gave us this little feeling that he can just say, okay, Rada, the parliament, shut up, you're done. Why? I'm going to give you an example. He just gave an order that no elected official or officials could leave the country without asking him. The presidential office, which is Yermak. Yermak is another one of the four little pigs over there, okay? So if you want to leave as a parliamentarian from Rada, Gorodna, whatever it's called, you have to ask Zelensky for permission. Daddy, can I leave? So that means obviously that he's like a king. I'm not going to go into abuses that I think he made during his little reign here. But nevertheless, that's a martial law over there. Well, this year, Ukraine is supposed to express itself democratically and show us how democratic Ukraine is. But because of the evil Russians, the elections will be suspended. Martial law, what can I say? Well, Russia does not have martial law yet. But still, they have elections as well. And I heard some guy called Mr. Dmitry Peskov. I don't know if he's Dmitry. I think it's Dmitry, yeah. Dmitry Peskov. He came and said, well, it's obvious that Putin would get re-elected. It's useless to hold elections in Russia. Now, I'm pretty sure that will be called a lack of democracy. That's an evidence that Putin is a dictator. But on the other hand, this guy, Zelensky, who instituted martial law since last year, February 24, which you're going to say, well, what do you want? They were attacked. Yeah. I mean, other countries were attacked and they did not issue martial law and they conducted elections. You want me to give you an example? The United States of America during the Second World War. Got there? If you got there, then that's it. Let's move on. Okay. So they were not democracy was not suspended. Well, and they were attacked. We were attacked in December 7th, 41? Yeah. We were attacked. So there you go. Okay. So we were attacked, even though we were not attacked. We were attacked, but not. Hawaii was not a state at that point, but they attacked our navy and all our military. So yeah, that's an attack. You can call it that way, and I will call it that way. I'm not going to go into the reasons why and all that. That's different story. Nevertheless, the point is they conducted elections. The Ukrainians will not conduct elections, but we're fighting to preserve democracy in Ukraine, and the Russians seem to avoid conducting elections. You can say, well, that's undemocratic. Yeah, it's undemocratic. What will you do? Well, you're going to call the Russians undemocratic, and you're going to call Ukrainians democratic. That's what it is. Let me show you a little article here that will make a point. Here it is. So, Ukrainska Pravda, August 17th, 2023. Ukraine extends martial law and mobilization. Okay. Ukrainian. Ukrainian. I love when they call him that way. The president of Ukraine, Zelensky, has signed laws on extending martial law and mobilization in Ukraine. Remember, when the Russians are conducting mobilization, there's a sign that they are losing and blah, 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 blah. And they didn't mobilize more than what? I would say less than 600,000 people. But anyway, details. Martial law and mobilization has been extended for 90 days until November 15, 2023. So digital profiles, there's a source of draft bills number 9533 and 9532 on the Parliament's website. This is an 8th extension since the beginning of the full-scale invasion. The next parliamentary elections were supposed to take place in October 2023. However, the law stipulates that no election can take place during martial law. Well, you see, the Verkhovka Rada approved the draft law extending martial law and general mobilization by another 90 days on July 27th. So this was background from the past. Now they did again for 90 days. So long live democracy. But you're going to say, well, what do you expect? We need him. Well, if you think that Zelensky is in charge in Ukraine and Zaluzny is in charge of the military, then okay. Well, then you think probably that, again, Biden and Kamala Harris are also in charge of the United States of America. Right? Right. I mean, you can tell. Just look at them and see how clueless they are. One with reason, because he's like, and the other one because she's just too much left and right and too much in her head. Don't let me get nasty or nastier. Anyway, my friends, this is democracy, and they can't conduct. I understand to a certain extent. The problem is how these guys will call the Russians. I'm waiting. Remember, today is what, the 17th of August. When, not if, when these guys in the West, if the Russians say, cancel, postpone the elections, when this guy, if that happens, these guys will start saying, see, that I can see the headline, Putin suspends democracy, or democracy was suspended in Russia by Putin dictator. He takes. Remember today, and I'm going to come back. Well, it's going to be in a few months, maybe a month or two, when this is going to happen. And I will say, see? Why? Because I already know how these guys are functioning. Perfect democracy in Ukraine, dictatorship 100% in Russia. You know, things sometimes are gray or not really black or white. But hey, children think in terms of black and white all the time. Sometimes you can, sometimes, you have to accept in between. We don't like it sometimes, but hey, that's the way life is. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.